Hello, welcome back to Authors on iTours. I'm Lauren Carr, and thank you for joining us today for a review of a second novel that's on tour by Bob Rogers. Today we are doing a review of Two Rivers, which is an intricately penned historical fiction that is thought-provoking and enjoyable. If you love historical fiction that is exceptional, then stay tuned to learn more about Bob Rogers' Two Rivers.
Hello, this is Lauren Carr, and welcome to Authors on iTours, a podcast devoted to authors, book bloggers, and other book lovers alike.
Welcome back. And now let me tell you a bit about Two Rivers by Bob Rogers. Rich with history and the geriatric romance in Two Rivers entertains and educates. Without fear of causing discomfort to some, Two Rivers takes us deep into the lives of two peoples, Africans and Europeans, in 1854 Charleston, South Carolina. In Two Rivers, the parallel courtships of enslaved widow Ella wooing 84-year-old widower Posey and Tiffany plantation manager James' pursuit of Jacqueline, daughter of a bank president, reveals the side-by-side lifestyles of enslavers and the enslaved. Attorney James' dream is to join the elite banker class by any means necessary. Rebuffed by Congressman William Aiken's daughter, James turned to Jacqueline. Meanwhile, Angolian Ella was determined to marry Posey, whose ancestry was Igbo. Though enemies from the day James arrived, both Posey and James respected Senator John C. Calhoun, but for vastly different reasons. For James, Calhoun represented the rulemaker class he wanted to join. Posey welcomed Calhoun's prediction of war between white people. In 1854, the Tiffany family had enslaved over 300 Africans for more than a century on the 1,100-acre slave labor camp that they called the Tiffany Plantation. The Tiffany's were the largest rice producer in South Carolina's Colton district. While the toil of enslaved Africans earned untold riches for the Tiffany's, the Africans endured violence inflicted to force increased rice production and profits, followed by the indignity of the bodies of loved ones being stolen from their graves and delivered to a medical school. Rich with history and a cast of unforgettable characters, Two Rivers is a sweeping saga of two peoples, European immigrants and African abductees. Together, they experience courtships, infanticide, homicide, rape, rebellions, revenge, sabotage, storms, high-stakes gambling, grave robbing, counterfeiting, slave mortgage-backed securities, and more. The troubles Posey BC's in Two Rivers reminds one of Southern Gothic storytelling. Hello, welcome back to Authors on iTours. Now let's meet Bob Rogers, who is the author of First Dark and Two Rivers, which are both currently on tour with iRead Book Tours. Bob Rogers is the author of The Lace Chameleon, which was an historical novel that earned critical acclaim from both Kirkus Reviews, San Francisco Review, and the Baltimore Examiner. Bob is a meticulous researcher who is known for spending extra time with a magnifying glass in hand, deciphering 18th and 19th century handwriting just to get to the facts. Bob is a former U.S. Army captain and was a combat leader during the Vietnam War in Troop A, 110 Cavalry. He finds his topographic experiences useful in field research. If he's not closeted in libraries or museums, you're likely to find him walking century-old rice fields, battlefields, or in a canoe following the river trails for his characters. Bob Rogers studied at South Carolina State University and the University of Maryland. He tends to his flowers, okra, and tomato plants in Mexico. Do check out the links below to Bob Rogers' website and to his social media platforms so that you can follow him and learn more about him and his novels. Hello, welcome back. And now for our review of Bob Rogers' Two Rivers. I love Bob Rogers' writing style. He does so much meticulous, minute research, and he weaves it effortlessly into his historical fiction novels to, take the reader right there into that place and that time. His historical research manages to bring to life with historical accuracy, the setting and the characters and their interactions with each other. While the story's true nature does give readers an insight into the past, he also takes you on an emotional journey with the characters and to create their compelling and their engaging story. His books just simply it's impossible to put down Bob Rogers' historical novel. Every character introduced into this story has a story to tell, and they do play a part. He has no darlings in his storylines at all. Each one plays a role and plays a part to bring his stories to life. They are emotional stories, and, the readers end up becoming invested in the outcomes and the reality of what's going on or in their lives. He doesn't try to hide the realities of the past, and it does make sometimes for a heart-wrenching look at the stories and the plots for these characters. I definitely recommend Two Rivers and First Dark, which we reviewed last week. If you love realistic historical fiction that brings the human elements and the characters together, if you like thought-provoking fiction, historical fiction, then do add these to your list. Now, these are not light reads. They are thought-provoking reads. And if you like deep novels, deep historical fiction novels that take you to another time and another place, then I do highly recommend Bob Rogers. This is a review of Two Rivers. Last week we reviewed First Dark. I recommend both novels be added to your to-be-read list.
And that concludes today's episode of Authors on iTours. This is Lauren Carr, and thank you very much for stopping by. If you enjoyed today's episode, then do be sure to like and subscribe so you can receive notifications of episodes every time we upload. Thank you very much for stopping by. In the meantime, happy reading.